Good morning and welcome to Backyard and Beyond. Well, a dishwasher or a washing machine may not be at the top of your list for a Christmas gift, unless, of course, it's sort of an emergency time and you think, man, that would be really nice to have a new one of either one of those. Well, as Chris said, we want to talk about detergents. You know, when you go to the aisle at the grocery store, my goodness, there are so many choices there between the hand washing detergent and the machine dishwashing detergent, and on and on and on. Well, I'm not going to talk about all those, but the first one is either perhaps you've heard or maybe you've learned from personal experience not to put hand washing dish detergent in your dishwasher, because you will end up with suds all over your floor, probably a little water with that. And of course, on the bright side, your kitchen floor will be much cleaner after you spent a lot of time cleaning that up. So don't do that. Now, occasionally, if you run out of dishwashing detergent, the kind you should be using in your dishwasher, one option somebody says is to put like 2 drops of the hand washing detergent in there. I think I would just wait or either hand wash my dishes for one time around till you get to the store. Now, on another option, if you want to, I think, save a little money, do a little extra work, is to make your own homemade dishwashing detergent. And, you know, some people say, I don't think this works so well. I have a film on my dishes. But other people say it works well. And the combination is 1 cup of borax and 1 cup of baking soda. And when you put it in the dishwasher, you only use 2 teaspoons of that mix plus 1 drop of liquid dish soap and vinegar in the rinse and dispenser. So you have 3 products to buy. Well, actually 4. Borax, baking soda, still needs some hand dishwashing detergent, and some vinegar. But according to some folks, your dishes will come out shiny and clean, and I think in the long run you will really save some money. But, you know, it's almost always a balance of time and money and a little extra work to do the homemade one. But those products also, of course, are very good for the environment. The baking soda, the vinegar, the borax are all, you know, sort of just a positive for the environment rather than the other regular dishwashing detergent. Now, that reminds me, in saying about making your homemade dishwashing detergent, that might be one of the things that Laura Schweniger is talking about and making on Saturday, December 4th in the afternoon at the library. I know she's making laundry detergent, and you get to take some home and try that out. So there are a lot of homemade cleaners that often use just very common household items like the vinegar and the baking soda and so on. Well, moving on, another thing you will find in the laundry area is the HE detergent for your washing machine. If you do not have a new high energy washer, you can ignore this. But if you have one, you better be buying the high efficiency. And you have to look, of course, on the label of the detergent for the letters HE. Usually they're fairly prominently displayed in a little bit of different font, but it's really, really important to use those HE or high efficiency detergents in your efficient washing machine. It's sort of like the dishwasher thing. The HE will not make nearly as many suds because the high energy washing machines do not use as much water, and they need that less sudsy kind of detergent. That's partly what makes them high efficient. High efficient. Now, if you're going to buy a new machine, if you're going shopping, because there's lots of things to consider. The high efficient washers are going to use less energy and have higher efficiency operation, but on the other hand, you're going to spend more money for the detergent because the HE detergents are more expensive. Another feature, especially of the front loading, and I think all the high efficiency washing machines started out being front loading. They're also now making top loading high efficiency washing machines. But one of the benefits of the front loading is that more water will be spun out at the end, which means it should take less time in the dryer and therefore saving energy on the drying side. Also, there seems to be less wear and tear, less pilling on the clothes that are washed in a front loading rather than a top loading, and all of that basically has to do with the spinning, just as taking the water out. And of course there are lots of other kinds of things on any kind of washing machine. How many cycles are there? What can you do? I got a new washing machine several years ago now, but it is a high efficiency front loading, and one of the things I really like, and this I'm sure is available on almost any kind if you select that particular model, and that is one that does hand washing. So there are some items that of clothing that you don't want to be wrung around too much, and I've used it several times on old quilts. It's just much gentler, it's hand washing kind of thing rather than the tougher spinning and so on you would use on towels and jeans and that kind of thing. So I really like that feature. But as I say, there are lots of features to look at, so when you're going shopping for one, you want to take a look at not just the color, although that may be one thing you want to consider, but look at all those features that are there. Now, what going on a little bit with the HE detergent, they are of course found right there with the regular laundry soap and detergents, but you need to look for them, and not every brand and not every store offers HE in every brand, but there are a number available. So again, if you have a high efficiency washing machine, you need to be using those HE detergents. The several companies, several organizations do testing on detergents, and I always find that kind of interesting in terms of how they test and what they're finding out and so on. One other thing I haven't mentioned about, and this is true of all detergents, you don't want to use more than it tells you to use on the container. That amount will do the best job of cleaning clothes and not leave soap residue on your clothing. That's not good. So you want it all to be rinsed out. And if you're overusing it, you're spending more money, and you are also doing things that are not good for your clothing. So use just the amount that is recommended on usually a plastic bottle, although I think there are some powdered ones also. So what do companies look at when they are testing laundry detergents? Well, one of the things we'd like to have happen is it removing stains. If there are any stains on our clothing, it would really be nice if our detergent would remove that. It would be nice if they kept whites and didn't damage the color too much. As a person who does laundry and a purchaser, there are some things that you would like to have your detergent do for you. Well, Consumer Reports, of course, is one of the organizations that does testing on tons of things, and in the detergent line, laundry detergent, they evaluate 31 standard and 13 HE detergents, and they test 9 common stains, including grass, chocolate, red wine, and blood. And they put these stains onto cotton swatches and then wash them in warm water. And then the wash swatches are run through a machine to evaluate and detect any leftover residue. So if you go to Consumer Reports, and I think if you don't want to subscribe to that, which you can just go to the library and check those out, see the information that's there. Good Housekeeping magazine also evaluate 9 laundry detergents. Only 9 as compared to 31, but I'm sure they pick out some of those popular brands. And testers apply 15 stains to 2 types of fabrics. So they're using a bit different kind of standard. They apply it to cotton and polyester, and they allow the stains to set for 24 hours and then wash them in different detergents at 2 temperatures. So they do, I would say, a little more complete evaluation in their standards, but don't do nearly as many kinds of detergent. The cotton is washed in hot water and the polyester in cold. And then they just list in their magazine their top picks and the best budget brands, not an evaluation of all 15 of those they did. Well, like I said, there are many other groups that do all kinds of tests, and on the testing, at least from the source that I found, Tide was sort of the top, and there is a Tide HE with bleach alternative liquid laundry detergent, and then their second choice was Tide HE liquid laundry detergent. So again, you have lots of choices. You may want to get your own information out there. Just a word before we quit about cold water detergent. For the most part, it works well on lightly soiled clothes, but if you have heavily soiled, or you have things like diapers, underwear, things, bedwear that you want to kill bacteria and dust mites, you need hot water. So lots more about detergents, etc., than you maybe want to know, but until next time, here is a thought. Think of your future. You're going to spend the rest of your life there.